children.
Judge, I'm going to object to this point with regards to relevancy. This is not about child visitation or child custody. This is about what happened on May the 9th and the domestic violence that Mr. Raisor caused.
It's great. I think it's absolutely relevant because I think that it's absolutely clear that there was a hearing that happened. She understands that the children are in joint custody and that he has rights and access to them. And she vindictively took out this EPO because she knew that it was the only way when she took it out on behalf of the children to ensure that the children were in temporary sole custody. In those, in the 7 or 8 times that he was with the children, how many times was he alone with the children?
He was not with them when he came earlier that week of the 20th and grabbed him up out of the yard and stopped by.
From April 3rd to April 20th, how many times was Mr. Raisor alone with the children?
Well, I wasn't there when he came. Let me see it. Stop. So he stopped out in front of our yard, and I was not there, so I don't know.
So you would say one time?
Yeah.
One time would be
maybe.
Answer.
I mean.
So maybe one time between April 3rd and April 20th, he was with the children without you, and how long would you say that he was around the children without you?
I'm not sure. Maybe 5 minutes.
Maybe 5 minutes. And you think that bruising that showed up on a visit on April 20th was caused by Mr. Raisor with him visiting the child one time between April 3rd and April 20th?
I'll tell you this. I know how long my bruises last when he hits me. So I have a pretty good indication that if he hits that hard, then bruises could be there for a while.
Okay. Would it surprise you if the child had revealed that the people that spank him are his mommy and his daddy?
I was there during when he was talking to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Does anybody spank you?" And he said, "Yes, my mommy does." And he said, "Who else spanks you?" "The nice grandpa does." "And who else spanks you?" "My daddy." Okay, and then he says, "My daddy makes me stand on the bed."
Counsel, I want to hear what the child said.
Okay.
Just respond to his questions, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
From you?
No.
Okay, was there an occasion was it Monday or Sunday or Monday of this week when you were moving property out of your home that he showed up right across the street?
Monday, yes.
Okay. So you have a police report showing that?
Yes.
And did the judge, with the court's permission, there a police report here. I'd have my client read the police report into the record if...
I would object to that.
And it actually happened after the petition, so if she feels like she has a violation, you need to go back and report that, but it can't be a part of today's proceeding.
Have you tried to take that complaint?
Down in Bullitt County, yes.
Okay. And was there another occasion?
I do. Yes, there's there. I have written down.
You testified to this, but I just want to be clear. David, I'm handing the hospital report from February
16 incident?
Yeah,
yes, sir. Right.
Incident. If you would look at that, do you recognize that report?
I do, yes.
Okay. And what did you? What is the official record that you reported to the hospital in there as to how the injury occurred?
Hit with belt in face with headache and facial laceration.
Okay. Isn't it true
Well,
that on...
Did you want to clarify your answer? Rachel?
It doesn't say that. I'm not sure. Go ahead.
So, Rachel, let me ask you, who is the petitioner in the divorce action? Who filed for divorce?
Yes.
Okay, he filed for divorce. Did you file a response in that divorce action?
Yes.
In that response, did you make any allegations of domestic abuse?
No. No.
Okay. Did you at any time prior to the divorce action take out an EPO or attempt to take out an EPO?
No.
All right. In order to issue this EPO today, Judge Brown has to find that there was an act or threat of an act of domestic violence, and that there's an immediate threat of danger here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the mother of this little 1-year-old girl. This little 1-year-old girl.
Yes.
So on May the 9th, at Brain Balance, do you sincerely believe that Mr. Raisor's conduct was so reckless that there was a threat of injury, domestic violence toward that child?
I do. He does not think before he acts. And this is very common with him.
Okay. And if Judge Brown fails to issue this EPO, are you fearful that Mr. Raisor will continue to show up places where you are unannounced and continue to demonstrate recklessness that could lead to injuries to you or your children?
I am very afraid. And she's just crazy, man. Just like in the recording. And when we were out front, he was cussing then too. And
Okay, but you all both said that there was a recording of this, right?
there was a video camera there.
At the location.
And they told me that it records over daily, and they could only get it if a police officer or
your counsel sends a subpoena. They could get it that way as well.
Yeah, it records over right away, though. I've already been through this trying to get a video once because he tried to say I pushed him in there and was lying.
Nice. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Carl, we can go down this line of questioning, but there's not a motion for contempt, or there hasn't been anything that's been taken out by the...
Counsel, I am going to have to restrict it further. Discussion of anything that happened after the order was issued, because those should be handled, and actually they would probably be handled in Bullitt County.
I would just tell you, Judge, that my client has been to the office in Bullitt County to attempt to file violation of EPO charges.
Oh, and they won't allow.
They referred her to you.
Okay.
And
she could, of course, file those
contempt, understand.
downstairs,
Right,
and they would determine whether it rises to the level of criminal charge,
I understand.
or whether it should be something they.
I understand you're
should come back.
excluding that evidence from the court hearing today, Judge. I understand that, and I appreciate that. But you can't blame a fellow for trying. Thank you. So, you in the tape, you keep talking about how you've seen your children in so long. But you know that anytime you want to see your children, you can either call Rachel and go visit the children at her dad's house, or she's offered to have a visitation between.
It's actually incorrect, sir.
Correct, sir?
No, sir, that's not correct. I've got every single day since March 28th that I've asked to see my children, and I've got text proof. I've got text proof of your client telling me to call her and leave a voicemail. I have every voicemail that I've left recorded saying the date and time when I've asked that. I've seen my children 4 times since April 3rd, a total of 10 hours.
Carl, your voice recording on there, what day was that made?
May 9th,
Okay.
11:30.
Do you recognize your voice on there?
I do.
Do you recognize Ms. Raisor's voice on there?
I do.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I would move to introduce the tape recording into evidence.
Object, Judge. We do not know, and I suspect strongly that Mr. Raisor has edited this recording We should give him an Academy Award. You remember, I think he's a member of the Screen Actors Guild, okay? He was crying earlier in his testimony in his editing of this film.
Does this go to the objection?
Yeah, it does. Because
But
I believe
what about the crying? What's that got to do with the objection to the authentication of the... Okay.
I'll withdraw those comments.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and admit it. I mean,
I just object because
counsel,
edited it.
I hear tapes like this from individuals all the time, and everybody tapes everything.
I truly don't know what she believes.
Well, counsel, you have counsel.
I truly don't know what Rachel believes.
Now look,
he won't answer the question. It's a yes or no question.
Counsel, you have to let him finish his answer, and then you may ask
again.
again.
To direct him to answer my question, yes or no, and give explanation.
I'm going to object to the relevancy of this question. I mean, I don't think that this line of questioning, aside from badgering the witness, has anything to do with domestic violence or the reasonable likelihood that it'll occur.
Well, I think.
You've been in hearings with Judge Spainhour and your lawyer and Rachel and me, and you've heard her testify. Is it your understanding that the reason she's insisting on supervised visitation between you and the children is because she does not believe that the children will be safe unless there is a supervisor there to ensure that they're safe?
The answer to your question, sir, is no.
Supervised visitation.
Because I filed for divorce, sir, and she has tried to tear my life apart. That's why.
You did not hear her testimony in Bullitt County, how she fears for your children's safety if there's not supervision during visitation?
I heard lies, sir.
I'm not even.
Objection.
Just a second, counsel. I'm going to strike that question.
All right.
I don't even know where you were going with that.
Well,
But not appropriate for today's.
he's now on the verge of committing perjury, Mr. Green, and that he may want to assert his Fifth Amendment rights at this point because he's lying. He's heard her say in court the reason that she won't allow
I'm not even.
Objection.
Just a second, counsel. I'm going to strike that question.
All right.
I don't even know where you were going with that.
Well,
But not appropriate for today's.
just say to you.
Do we
that
have any other questions that
Yes,
are going to
I
be
do.
asked? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so she's offered for you to see the children with supervision, and you won't do it. You haven't accepted those offers. Is that correct?
No, sir. What days has she offered me supervision? Give me specific dates that Rachel Raisor offered me a date and time.
You contacted for supervisitation, and she said go to the treehouse for visitation.
Show me proof of that,
I
sir.
don't show you anything. I'm asking you a question.
I don't have. No, sir. That's the answer.
Sir. The next question is, rather than accept her offers of supervised visitation, you show up unexpectedly after you've been laying in wait for her in the parking lot of Brain Balance, correct?
I showed up on May 9th, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and how
Okay,
many
let me ask. There's no order in regard to parenting time. There is no order of supervised visitation. Am I right? I thought you all said that.
You are correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is just her condition for when she would like for him to see the children and how she would like for him to see the children.
Right. How many changes to that audio tape did you make, Mr. Raisor?
0, sir.
You didn't edit it at all?
No, sir. None of those recordings have been
Do
edited.
you remember telling Rachel that about a sexual exploit you had with one of her girlfriends?
No, counsel.
Yes.
Not relevant at all.
Well,
And whether there was an act of domestic violence that
I'm talking
occurred,
about
not
the-
relevant.
Judge, the point of the question is, it would be an example of how he deleted something from the tape.
It's
Because my
not
client
relevant. It's
insists-
not relevant. Not relevant, counsel. Let's keep moving.
Do you got anything else you want me to ask this clown? I don't have anything else for Mr. Raisor.
Okay. Any redirect, sir?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, I did get any other witnesses?
No, Your
Okay.
Honor.
I did get an update from CPS in regard to the investigation that they were conducting. I don't know, who got it started, but they do not suspect that any abuse or neglect has occurred, so I assume they'll be contacting the two of you. They actually have indicated that they believe all of this is a result of the divorce and the custody action. I don't believe that on that date at the Brain what's the name of the place?
Brain Balance.
At the Brain Balance, that there was an act of domestic violence that occurred that day, based on the testimony and on the recording that I heard. I mean, you all were having some words with each other and certainly disagreed, but I did not hear him make any threats towards you, ma'am. And I don't find there's an act of domestic violence.
The electricity was shut off.
She wants to move in there with the kids. That's what.
Well, but nobody lives there now, right? No one lives there right now. Is that right?
She's been there the last 3 days, Judge.
Who vacated? I thought I heard testimony that you moved out here.
I have pictures of where he's moved his stuff out.
Ma'am, you have to answer my question.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have to answer yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you move out, ma'am?
Yes.
The EPO remains in place. That's between the two of you. It's an EPO, not a DBO. I will leave that in place, but I am going to amend it because it has nothing to do with the children. And so you all are going to resume an equal parenting schedule. And then until that time, until Judge Spainhour issues other orders, then, he gets the children, you get the children. Y'all can do a 2, 2, 3.
I would ask you, Judge, to refrain from issuing any kind of parenting order. Judge Spainhour heard 4 hours of testimony.
I'm only issuing something that's temporary until you all get an order from Judge Spainhour. So,
May I, with all due respect, if we're going to get into fitness for being with the children.
No, we're not getting into fitness. Counsel, this is not about fitness. This is what I do on this docket when I dismiss an action or when I allow the EPO to be extended. I go ahead and work out the parenting schedule so that these parties can have the children can have stable time.
It's directed that the children not be around Mr. Raisor.
Objection.
Wait a minute now, counsel.
No, Judge,
Wait
I'm
just
serious.
a second, counsel. There's not been any orders issued, right? Y'all keep telling me that, but y'all both keep saying the judge is issuing orders. Now, is there an order to that effect, sir?
The judge
Is there an order, counsel? I mean, you all would have it, I would think, if there was an order.
The judge directed that we don't have a signed order, but the judge verbally directed that Mr. Raisor's father not be around.
Objection. If we are talking about what the judge verbally said, that he was to have visitation with his children and that Rachel and the father were not to be there.
Sorry, that's not how I look at
Okay,
it.
so I'm trying to get just a neutral third party. That's all I need is a neutral third party. Trying to get just to give y'all some input. Ma'am, let me tell you something. You're not running the show. Judge Brown is running this today. Now I would like to do this with y'all's cooperation and give y'all some input, but y'all not gonna tell me what to do.
Yes.
Ma'am, let me tell you something. You're not running the show. Judge Brown is running this today. Now I would like to do this with y'all's cooperation and give y'all some input, but y'all not gonna tell me what to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's not gonna happen.
I'm sorry, that's not how I look at
Okay,
it.
so I'm trying until Judge Spainhour's order comes out.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
My son has very intensive exercises that I do with him every day, and Carl does not know how to do them.
He can learn.
We would not object to a 2-2-3.
Unless you want a week on and week off, and I think that's a little long for what you all are going through. I know you don't want that, ma'am. You don't want that, do you? Ma'am, I'm talking to you. Okay, so would you prefer a 2-2-3 schedule?
Yes.
You get them 2 days.
I suggest the babysitter.
Y'all do what together?
The babysitter.
The babysitter would be a good third party.
No.
Okay, who's the... Ma'am, let me tell you something. You're not running the show. Judge Brown is running this today. Now, I would like to do this with y'all's cooperation and give y'all some input, but y'all not going to tell me what to do. Would be the time that Dad would see them or pick them up on a normal schedule?
What do you mean?
Like, at the end of the day, what are the kids' days like? Like, they get up, one goes to this other location, and the other child stays with you.
Yes.
Right?
No, Judge, they both stay with her all day. She takes them. He
doesn't stay all day. He just goes.
He goes for an hour and a half,
and then he comes back.
Right.
Okay.
And then she spends about 2
So
hours a
what's
day
your
working with them on
schedule like, sir,
exercises.
on the days
So-
that you would?